Hello, this is Ken, your podcast preacher, and I want to welcome you back to Deep Waters. This podcast is brought to you by Applied Strengths Ministry, where we believe working together in our strengths is the effect of working out the will and calling of God in our lives. The title of this message is Drinking, Gambling, and Sexing Responsibly. This is a multi-episode series in which this is episode 5 of 6. So look, for example, there are those who show you the horrible effects of smoking, and yet some unsuspecting soul grabs a hold of a cigarette and repeats the actions that may result in the same outcome. Now they know the cause and effect, yet they think it won't happen to them. It's like there's a switch in everybody that's called, it won't happen to me. So we turn that thing off and then we repeat the same bad behavior that results in bad effects. Hello, the system is designed to do this. 1 John 5:19. We know that we are of God, and the whole world lies under the sway of the wicked one. Like it or not, the devil is always trolling for the next fish. I know that some don't care, and that's for another message. And yes, as with all of these points, there is a spirit behind all of it. Will it make a difference to reveal the source? Nope. People get involved with witchcraft and everything associated with that spirit, full well knowing the risks of shaking hands with the devil, who knows your every bait choice by heart. He has kin and kids, and they will act like dad because they are wholly compelled to respond to his desires and appetite. The bee doesn't fall far from the hive. Yep, I just made that up. The commercials say if we offer flingy family fun for all ages, bring the kids to Playland while you spend their future. No doubt you have heard about the wolf in sheep's clothing. Premarital sex. So my thought on including this issue is imaginary. So look, imagine if we were able to instantly get rid of alcohol and the A to Z effects, every form of gambling and the A to Z effects, even any and all things associated with the stock market. I know my 401k just lost 50% with that comment. And well, since we are all still imagining anything and everything associated with sex, outside of a healthy marriage between a man and a woman, all of it, why you and I would think that sin never entered the world of mankind through Adam. Trillions with a T is swirling around the A to Z's of all three of these industries annually. We could pay off the entire U.S. debt in less than a year. I say in less than a year because there would be a cost of transitioning the many who have been impacted by these industries. Dream, 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 dream. Nope. But it's not a dream, but a hope for the Christian, that a world without these issues is coming. We are banking on it with our very service-friendly, faith-centered, enshrined in all of humanity with the love of Christ's religion. But for now, you on the other side continue to believe that those leading the way in these industries would ever walk away from such lifestyles as to eradicate global poverty? Now I know you are probably thinking that I'm being a Mr. Negative Sour Meyer. But through and through, if you knew me, you would know that every last hope I have, is in God. There is nothing worth a partial exchange for any bit of my relationship with Him. I don't need to list all of the negative things associated with the sex industry. But wow, are we out of our minds to let it swell up into the monster that it is today? You can believe me that the problem is not solvable. Can you help? Yes, and should, however you can. Should you judge anyone struggling to remove the hook of perversion and lust? Well, just do what Jesus did. You will survive His judgment that way. From the modeling industry to the swimming suit editions of all kind of printed matter, to Facebook, to TikTok, Pinterest, Snapchat, YouTube, Netflix, you name it. Abortions, poor self-imaging, clothing, parents selling kids to the industry so that they can eat. Where does it end, and how much worse is it than just the mention of so few impacts thus far? Kids actually kill themselves because they don't feel that they measure up to a fake industry. That's an impact. Adults actually have sex with their own kids. That's an impact. Girls, after the industry considers that they have been all used up, whatever that means, are discarded to the streets to become homeless. That's an impact. Another unnecessary abortion. That's an impact. Kids being kidnapped and turned into addicts so they are hooked twice over. That's an impact. I could go on for weeks, but suffice to say, wow. In finishing, now what usually happens when the giants are kicked is that they behemothly begin to move about to find out who is tampering with their bed of lies, with such a weapon as the truth. I use behemoth as I envision them so full of the dollars we feed them that they are a bit overweight, so they slothfully move like a paradisian slug. Of course, the devil doesn't want you to know that he not only has you hook, line, and sinker, but he has them hook, line, and sinker as well, with the exception that their hooks may be gold-plated. Now you ask why he would do that to his own kids. And yes, the best explanation is that he would eat his own kids, if it would, for a moment, satisfy his wretched appetite for souls. They think that they are getting away with something, and it has been this way throughout all of the history of mankind. The bully walks away with a grin on his insecure face, thinking he has won a great victory, taking down what he thinks is a nothing and an invaluable human being. But little do they know, little does he know, that unless he eventually becomes authentically born again, which can oftentimes come right out of our love response to him, when he has his shoe on your face, he is destined to meet my daddy, my jealous daddy, the one who created me to endure such things on this earth, that some, who may be watching my conduct, would peek into my house to see what goeth. So but now I remind you that although I have used these industries to demonstrate that we live on a rock that only promises what the rock can even produce, and so but glory be to God, we have a true and living rock that we rest on, and he shares with us his own kingdom which exceedingly surpasses this type and shadow we call earth. There is nothing wrong with having and maintaining systems to govern people. I state this knowing that all governments rest on him, for now and forever. Isaiah 9:6-7. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder. And his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end, upon the throne of David and over his kingdom, to order it and establish it with judgment and justice, from that time forward even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. But Ken, this message has so much, and while it seems all over the place, yep, sometimes I do that in my little attempt at drawing through characters, the picture that God shows me. It is not too easy to overwhelm our human minds to the affairs of God, right? And am I any different than you just because he gave me the gift of teaching? Nope. 1 Corinthians 4:13. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints. He is not the author, which implies that there is an author. Confusion is a demonic strategy the devil uses all the time. It locks a person up and is responsible for many, premature, destructive, and damaging decisions made right from the very core of it. We all should do our best, with the operative word being the doing and not focusing on the besting, because besting will follow the doing, because faith without works is dead. And being the best dead Christian is not and should not be your focus. James 2:20. But do you want to know, O foolish man, that faith without works is dead? James 1:22-25. But be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man observing his natural face in a mirror. For he observes himself, goes away, and immediately forgets what kind of man he was. But he who looks into the perfect law of liberty and continues in it, and is not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this one will be blessed in what he does. Titus 2:11-14. For the grace of God that brings salvation has appeared to all men, teaching us that, denying ungodliness and worldly lusts, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present age. Look for the blessed hope and glorious appearing of our great God and Savior, Jesus Christ, who gave himself for us, that he might redeem us from every lawless deed and purify for himself his own special people, zealous for good works. Well, that's it for today. Remember, it's not what you find wrong or disagree with regarding these messages, but what you can take away from it. Together we can do more to impact the kingdom than if we work alone. Let's flip the script and kill, steal, and destroy the works of the enemy and create space for the light of lights to shine through into people's lives. Plant a seed and click on the like and subscribe button. Let's build this ministry together. Thanks, and see you next time in Deep Waters.